Yo, what is going on, guys? Got an absolutely ridiculous video for you here today where we're going to be covering a series of clips. But the first one of those clips is a woman who is homeless, apparently, going around and basically trying to shack up with random dudes so that she has somewhere to live. Now, this is probably done for views. I don't really know, but it is completely damn stupid. Let's jump right in. As always, guys, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments.
Day 9-ish of being homeless. I just left one of my boyfriend's places. He said I can't stay again tonight because he has shit to do, whatever that means. And just kind of drying up for me. Everyone's like pissing me off. They're being rude about the fact that I'm homeless. So I'm gonna go to Burley, go for a hot girl walk. I've done my makeup just to walk, and I'm gonna go ask every hot guy for their number and then see if I can find a place to sleep tonight. Otherwise, I'm sleeping in my car, which is fine. This is comfy as fuck. Not complaining at all.
Women live in a completely different reality.
I mean, of course they do, because dudes are willing to hand them free crap, right? And women are not going to turn this down. So you have this woman who is homeless. She's been homeless for 9 days. And by the way, apparently we as men, we're being a-holes, you know, for not letting her sleep in our houses. With, you know, how crazy is that, by the way? The level of entitlement you have to have in order to make a video like this. But of course it's vastly different. If you're a dude and you're in the same situation, people aren't going to give a damn. They're not going to give you a place to sleep simply because you need one, okay? I think that's reflected in the homeless people statistic. Obviously, the majority of them are men, but of course, we don't ever talk about that when we talk about equality, do we, guys? It's no, let's get women into CEO positions. But of course, those same people saying that nonsense don't really care that the male unaliving rates are higher. There's more homeless dudes, more dudes pass away in things like wars. We don't ever talk about those things, do we? But let's carry on.
Place to sleep tonight. Otherwise, I'm sleeping in my car, which is fine. This is comfy as fuck. Not complaining at all.
Women live in a completely different reality to men. Seriously, in your darkest hours, you have probably done the thought experiment of wondering how you would survive if you were homeless. Did you ever think to yourself, oh, it's fine, I'll just stay at one of my numerous girlfriends' houses, problem solved? Yeah, it turns out for men, the solution isn't that easy. This reminds me of that meme, 1 in 4 homeless people are women. That's a weird way of saying 75% of homeless people are men. The truth is that your status as a homeless woman is much higher than that of a homeless man.
Yeah, and so the reason for this is nobody cares if the woman doesn't have a job. The woman's status is not tied to, well, how much money does she make and what position does she hold and how useful is she typically, like in a societal context, right? A dude is not going to turn down a woman because she works at McDonald's, for example. If she's a great woman, she's super kind, she's pleasant to be around, you know, maybe she knows how to cook really well and things like this, the dude is not going to care where the hell she works or what she does. But if you're a dude and you're like in your 30s and you're working at McDonald's or something like this, obviously women, for the most part, are not going to look your way, unless you're a giga chad. But even then, you know, long-term relationships might be a bit of a struggle because women will need to go out there and secure some simp to pay the bills, right? If you can't do that, then, you know, long-term relationship, maybe you'll get kicked to the curb. I mean, they'll still probably hook up with you, but they need a simp to pay the bills, is my point. But yeah, women's social status is not linked to what position they hold or how much money they have or whether, hell, even whether or not they have a place to live for the most part. I think that's the reason why.
The truth is that your status as a homeless woman is much higher than that of a homeless man. And that's not just because the culture at large values female life so much higher than it does male life. It's
I mean, it does, but
because female suffering is seen as a societal problem to fix. But male suffering, well, that's up to the individual. He needs to fix it himself. There is no equivalence between a broke woman and a broke man. If you're like this woman, it doesn't matter if you're broke and homeless. You can still confidently approach hot guys and find somewhere to sleep that night.
And just by the way, this is what really off-puts, I think, a lot of dudes when they're being approached by women is usually it's for some, if the woman is doing that, she's usually in some very bad position, right? She's usually trying to do something. Is she recording me? Is she trying to steal from me? What is it that this woman is doing, and why is she approaching me in the first place? I think a lot of dudes will have this line of thinking, even if they're attractive a lot of the time, because it's like, there's obviously some agenda here. Now, I'm not saying there isn't an agenda when men approach women. Obviously there is, but let's not pretend like there isn't one going the other way around as well.
But if you're a broke and homeless man, you're out of options. Women are not going to come to your rescue. Sadly, the attitude from so many of these modern women is that if you're not spending money on them, then they see no value in you. Observe this fight that broke out when a boyfriend refused to pick up a $4,600 restaurant check. His girlfriend invited 18 of her friends, and she never told him that she expected him to pay.
Birthday, like, you really just should have paid for all our food.
For one, I'm not paying for everybody's food. It's your birthday, cool, but I'm not doing that. It's 18.
Why do you gotta pay for all y'all food though?
You brought 18 friends. I'm finna leave you. You staying here with them or you coming with me?
Nobody wants a broke man. She's telling the truth. So
let's go back to this for a second, right? Look at the girlfriends like backing her up, by the way. I don't know if you saw, but the woman directly behind her in this part here, you know, she was like, ooh, you know, pulling the facial expressions, and there was some slight boos, I believe, in the background because the dude didn't want to pay how much was this? $4,600 to pay for 16 or 18 of her friends that she invited to this particular event. Like, what in the hell is this? And of course, the dude is in the wrong position, apparently, because he didn't pay. This is so damn ridiculous, guys. You know, dude's being required, apparently, to just, he probably doesn't even know all of these people. This dude probably doesn't even remember the names of 18 individuals, let alone this woman's quote-unquote friends. But apparently he's the bad guy. I mean, it's so stupid, guys. I'll agree with Alexander here, man. A lot of people, if you're a dude and you don't have something going for you, nobody cares. You know, nobody's going to be picking up your phone calls, or at least nearly not easily, and not as easily. Maybe you know a couple of friends, a couple of mates for like many years, and they might answer your phone calls. But what I'm trying to say here is nobody really cares about your struggles or the things that you're going through. You're going to have to handle them by yourself. You're not some woman, and you can't just rely on sleeping at some random dude's house, or some random woman's house for that matter, just because you don't have money. People are going to look at you like you're crazy. You know, you try and walk up to women and ask to spend the night at their house. I mean, you are going to have the cops called on you pretty damn quickly, I would assume.
18 friends. I'm finna leave you. You staying here with them or you coming with me?
nobody wants a broke man. She's telling the truth. So many of these women judge the value of a man by the size of his wallet. But do you want to know the real difference between men and women when it comes to money? If a man suddenly becomes wealthy, he thinks, this is amazing. Now I can provide for my wife so that she doesn't need to work. If a woman suddenly becomes wealthy, she thinks, this is amazing. Now I don't need a man. If you give money to a man, his impulse is to share it, to support his wife, to provide for her. If you give money to a woman, her impulse is selfish, to keep it to herself. That's a big claim, Alexander. You better have some hard data to back that up. Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Last year in Sweden, they did a study called Fortunate Families, the Effects of Wealth on Marriage and Fertility. They were studying what effects winning the lottery had on people's relationships for men and for women, and the results are fascinating. Actually, first, let's talk about what happens to men if they win the lottery. In the subsample of male winners, all point estimates suggest that windfalls stabilize marriages. A 1 million Swedish krona windfall reduces the probability of divorce by 6 percentage points, equivalent to a 40% reduction in relative risk.
Yeah, of course, because when the dude gets all the money, she thinks to herself, especially if she hasn't reached like a certain time period where she thinks that she can walk away with that particular money, or she doesn't think that she can get it out of him through the courts, she's going to want to stay because she's going to want to benefit from that money as well.
And gets a bunch of money and it stabilizes the marriage. It reduces the likelihood of divorce. In the female subsample, the pattern is strikingly different. Married women who win the lottery are more likely to get divorced in the short run. Our estimate suggests a 1 million Swedish krona windfall effectively doubles the short run risk of divorce. You can see that getting money gives men and women the opposite impulse. Men move towards providing, women move towards hoarding.
Yeah, and let's be honest, the majority of these divorces are, again, initiated by the women. It's not the dudes who are going, hey, I just saw that she won a bunch of money. It's time for me to leave her, you know, because I think I can get this money through the courts. Let's be real about it, guys. Men have a very difficult time through the divorce courts. Usually the dudes are the ones getting completely screwed over. So what's happening here is the women they're getting the money and then they're bouncing. They're like, well, you know, I don't need this dude anymore. So I'm just going to leave the situation. I'm going to leave the marriage and I'm just going to peace out with my bag, as it were.
Let's look at the graphs. Okay, let's look at this one first. Marriage formation. Look how different the genders are. When a man becomes wealthy, his desire to get married and provide shoots up. His marriage is stabilized. But when a woman becomes wealthy, she bails. This also has an effect on fertility. When a man becomes wealthy, there's a huge increase. They want to have children. They want to use that money to create offspring. Whereas for women, it basically makes no difference. Now let's look at a different study. This one is on the impact that getting a promotion at work has on your marriage, and the results are the same. For men, when they get a promotion, when they become more wealthy, you can see that they are more likely to remain married. But for a woman, her getting a promotion means that she is more likely to seek divorce.
And you know what, guys? I would 100% believe that, to be honest with you. I've seen this many times where like a dude will work in a field or he'll work in a particular job and then he loses that job. And then for some unbeknownst, unrelated reason, guys, that is left up to the cosmos, the woman just leaves. You know, it's not him, it's her. And they just weren't connecting on that deeper level, or they were drifting apart, or some garbage like that. I don't know. I haven't rehearsed the script, as it were. But for whatever reason, she just happens to bounce. Okay, I've also heard a lot of stories of dudes. Not necessarily losing their jobs, but getting injured on those particular jobs, and so they have to be out of work for X period of time. I've heard dudes like break limbs and so on, and then it's like, oh well, she could provide, but she doesn't really want to, and so she bounces again. Okay, like let's be real about this, guys. Women are not out here providing for dudes, especially on a long-term basis. Now, you might have women who are like hitting their 30s, and they're like, damn, I really got to have kids, so I've got all this money. Why don't I try and get some guy to quickly rush out some kids with? Then she'll provide for that guy on a short-term basis, but she'll probably end up leaving him anyway. And the other situation is where you have the women who are dating chads, right? They're dating the dudes who are really attractive. And so they'll pay for things on the short term, but they'll take him out to lunch. They'll buy him the drinks at the bars and all of these sorts of things. But again, it's not going to happen on a long-term basis, particularly in things like marriages. Women just do not provide for guys on a long-term basis at all. They might do it here and there if they think that you're attractive, or if they need to have kids because their fertility is running out. But if you think you're going to get looked after in this capacity, it's not happening, man. It's simply not happening.
Men share their money, women hoard it. Now, isn't it interesting that men are constantly shamed and criticized? Like, men are so pathetic that they can't handle a woman who has her own money. They're threatened by her success. Their ego's so fragile. Why can't men handle being with a woman who makes more money than he does?
I mean, let's pause it right here. The truth of the matter is most dudes don't give a damn. It has nothing to do with feeling emasculated. It has nothing to do with feeling intimidated. Men do not give a damn how much money you earn. Now, men might care how you got that money. If you're like a spicy content creator online, of course, dudes are not going to want to date you. But to be honest, that doesn't have anything to do with the money. It has to do with what kind of actions you're actually doing to get that money. I've heard this so many times, man. Oh, you're just insecure, or you can't handle a boss woman. It's like, why the hell do I want to date these women, guys? We don't want to date you because you're a pain in the ass. It has nothing to do with how much money you generate, and everything to do with the fact that you become incredibly unpleasant when you earn a lot of money. Yeah, hell, it doesn't even require a lot of money, by the way. It just requires more than whatever the dude's making. And then, of course, she'll make herself a complete headache and she won't respect the guy anymore. How many times, guys, have you seen on this channel, right? I will pull up a video and a woman will say, I don't want to settle. I bring a lot to the table. And they're like, yeah, I've got this nice career. I've got my businesses. And let's just assume that they're not completely lying and they are actually making some money. Men do not care. I don't know how many times I have to say this, guys. I mean, probably indefinitely. Let's be honest. The women oftentimes don't listen to this. But dudes are not looking at your wallet. They're really, really not.
interests. You know, I think that men, they just want to control women. They want to have all the money so that the woman is dependent upon them. These are bullshit, sexist lies that blame men to distract you from the real issue at play here, which is why are women so selfish with their money? Why are they so happy to take? Why do they feel so righteously entitled to a man's money, and yet if some good fortune happens to them and they suddenly become wealthy, there's no instinct from them to share?
You know what, guys? I've actually grown past the point of even giving a damn, to be honest. Like, if these women want to get on here and act super entitled to a man's money and they want to behave this certain way, at the end of the day, they're really just screwing themselves over because the men aren't going to want them anymore. As long as, here's the thing, guys, if I don't have to talk to these individuals, if I'm not forced to date them, I don't care. Show everybody your true colors. Go out there, make these videos, complain that men are not giving you money, say how you deserve money. I don't care. It just weeds you out because it makes you look ridiculous.
Truly is a disgusting aspect of female psychology, and sadly, it's widespread.
And he took me in, he put me into nursing school, he got my hair, nails, everything done. So he up here on this level, I'm down here on this level. You get where I'm going? He got me up here with him because he was making good money. But then he ended up losing his job 2 years ago. Lost his job, and now he broke. What did I do? Broke up with him and got on because I'm not finna take care of no grown man. I'm not doing.
And there it is. I think a lot of women are not really prepared to say this because they don't want to look bad on camera. But here it is, you know? I don't want to look after him. He's a grown man. But apparently dudes are supposed to look after you because, I don't know, you're a grown woman. Like, my goodness, man. I think Alexander Grace is really correct here, by the way, when he says, you know, you're going to be accused of things, right? If you're a dude and you leave a woman for whatever reason, you're going to be called like controlling, shaming language is going to be used against you, and so on and so forth, right? We've all seen this. But when women leave your ass, it's like, oh yeah, you go, queen. You know, he was dirt. You deserve better. Go out there and find a man who's better. But yeah, of course you left him. Of course, this is what, to be honest, this is what a lot of modern women do. They just leave you. It's not really about love. It's not really about caring for you. Gone are the days where you'll hear those stories from your grandparents and other people's grandparents where the woman got with him when they were like 18 and he was completely broke and he only got wealthy in his 30s. Maybe he never even became wealthy and she is still there by his side. Oftentimes gone are those days, guys, really. It's like if the man doesn't make X amount of money per year or per month or whatever it is, she just won't be there in the first place.
I mean, didn't feminism fight for equality, for men and women being treated equally? No, that was all lies. They just wanted privilege. So you know what? We need to stop shaming men for wanting to earn more than their partners, as though that's some defect in men. There is a defect here, but it's in women. When a man says, I want to make more money than my wife, it's because he has noticed that women are attracted to men who make more money than them.
I mean, not only that, he probably realizes that, hey, if he doesn't earn the money, the woman's just going to leave him anyway. You know, dudes are actively punished for being in this position. You're not doing enough, she'll just replace you with some dude on a dating application. You don't make enough money, you're not a real man. And so, you know, like dudes just get thrown out over this stuff. Again, doesn't matter if you get injured and it's not your fault. Doesn't matter if the company gets rid of you because they're doing layoffs, even though you're actually quite useful in the company. The excuse doesn't matter. The end result is, hey, dude's not making money. I'm going to go find a different man.
It appeals to their hypergamy, and he knows that if he wants to retain the attraction of his wife, this is how it needs to be. He's also noticed that if a woman has more money than her husband, then the marriage is less stable. And why?
I would also argue, by the way, that these women are not attracted to you. The women who are with you because of your ability to provide, they're not with you because they're like physically attracted to you. Oftentimes what women do, especially if they've been with a whole bunch of guys, by the way, they've got, you know, they've been with like 10 different dudes and then they settle down to get married. Oftentimes what happens is they have that one dude who's providing for them, i.e. the husband, and then they'll go on to cheat with him, with the dude that she's actually attracted to. Because again, the women are not actually attracted to your wallet. You're essentially just an ATM where you are required to pay for things, and if you don't, then she bounces. But like, let's not get it twisted here. The women are not attracted to you. You know, they'll have a long-term relationship with you because they're getting all the benefits. They get all their crap paid. But I think that's different from actually being attracted to you. They're attracted to the money. They're not attracted to you, so to speak.
Why would he want an unstable marriage? She's more likely to seek divorce. She's also less likely to want children. Plus, there's this frighteningly common female attitude.
Our money is our money, but her money is her money, right? She's earning for herself.
Man, you have to understand all of the propaganda that you have been fed, how women are kind, compassionate, generous. It's in female nature to nurture and to take care of people. None of that applies to you.
And you know what? I strongly agree with that, guys. You know, you could make a case that women do the nurturing and this and that, but it's for the dudes that they're highly attracted to. You know, they'll bend over backwards to do all sorts of different things for the men that they're highly attracted to. But, you know, the husband, for example, wants to go golfing on the weekend and she has a problem with it. You see what I'm saying, guys? It's like all of the rules are completely broken for the men that they find attractive. All of the rules are created and enforced for the men that they don't find attractive, right? It's ridiculous to me, guys. I've literally heard stories of really successful men and their wives just boss them around and treat them like crap, you know, and they know that the dude can't leave because he's going to lose a whole bunch of money and probably kids in the process if they have any, and they still have, you know, if the kids are still in the house. Like, the dude loses absolutely everything. Women don't stand to lose crap when they divorce a lot of the times. Now, some of them do lose it, and when they lose it, they post on social media, and it's very funny, and I don't empathize with it. But, you know, these successful guys, man, putting up with way too much nonsense. Absolutely.
He does not see it as her role to take care of men. Women are hypergamous, which means they only date men that they feel are superior to them. They feel like that is the natural order of things. Women like to feel like men are superior. That's why they can't bring themselves to date a man who makes less money than her, who's shorter than her, who's less intelligent. She wants to be the weaker one in the relationship. She wants her man to be stronger and more capable than she is.
And you know what? People will probably sit here. You'll have womanists who will call this, you know, they'll be like, oh, you don't like women. They'll probably say this to Alexander Grace, you know, oh, you don't like women. You're only saying this because you're an incel and all of these sorts of things. And he'll probably get insulted a lot. And then what do those same women do? They'll go out here and they'll do exactly what Alexander is saying. They'll go out there, they will chase the tall men. They will chase the men with a lot of money. They will chase the guys who are quite honestly more intelligent than them. They will do everything that Alexander describes in this video, but then they will turn around and insult him and call him names. That's the funniest part about this content, guys, is you can be 100% accurate and it can be totally reflected in reality of what happens, but people will still be like, yeah, you know what? You're an incel. You don't get laid. It's like, okay, man, okay. What on earth?
Idea of her paying for her man, providing for him, that fills her with disgust. It feels unnatural to her. Why, after winning the lottery or getting a promotion at work, are these women divorcing their husbands? It's because now that she has more money, the arrangement feels unnatural to her. And as stupid as it is, I would respect feminism if it had some consistency to it. Like if they said, women are equal to men, we're going to treat everyone equally, and then they actually stuck to that ideal. Men, you do 50% of the housework, 50% of the childcare, and I, the woman, will provide 50% of the paycheck. Like, I would think that that's moronic because it goes against biology. There's a much more sensible division of labor based on each gender's inherent strengths and weaknesses. But if you sincerely applied that equality, I would at least respect the integrity of it. But
you know what? I agree with Alexander here, but it's never going to happen. You know, like, the thing is, in order for womanists to do this, then they would have to give up the privileges that they have. But they're not going to do this. There is no consistency to this. It's not about equality. It's not about equal footing and making sure that things are fair. It's about making sure that women retain as much advantage as possible, and the men have to do absolutely everything. You know, pay all my bills, but also I bring nothing to the relationship. And if I have money, if I have the capability to pay the bills, and you're staying at home and actually doing things, then you know what? I'm out. I'm leaving. This isn't fair. Right? So if you were to take a woman and put her in the same situation as dudes, she just would leave, guys. It's like, wait a minute, I have to go out there and work really hard and make money, and then after that I have to spend it on somebody who's not myself because I care about them? Oh no, hell no, I'm leaving. I'm going to go find a man with money. They're not going to be consistent. And also, by the way, this is why non-heterosexual relationships, specifically women, typically fail, is because if you have two women who are in relation, have you guys seen the divorce statistics for women who are with women? By the way, it's the worst of any what's it called? Any permutation of genders there are. Man and a woman, divorce rates are obviously pretty high. Man and a man is lower. Woman and woman, the absolute highest. It's because none of them want to provide for the other person, guys. Realistically, if you look at some of the stats behind that, it is very damn funny. It's like, wait, you mean to tell me that I have to maybe be the one paying the bills? Oh, hell no. I'm leaving you, Sandy. And that's exactly what happens, guys. Now, not every single one is going to end in divorce and separation and things like this, but let me tell you, the statistics are a lot higher for women who are with women, because neither of them want to do the man's traditional role.
Modern feminism is so foul and odious. It feels entitled to these disgraceful double standards that privilege women and take advantage of men. I have much more respect for women like this.
We women have to be honest with ourselves about a few things, which is, right now, women, if you make a certain amount of money, we do not date men that do not make the same amount of money or more than us. Women on average actually do not want to. And so we have this conundrum where if women are making more,
what a real conundrum, you know?
Men are making the same, and in some instances less, what happens to the dating pool? And so I think women, if we're going to make more money, we got to start saying, it doesn't really matter if our partner makes the same amount of money. I mean, Chris, my husband, was a Navy SEAL. Spoiler, the government doesn't pay well. So I made more than he did in the beginning, but his compass was never money. His compass was service and excellence. Your bank account has no ability to hurt a man one way or the other. But if you make him feel less than for the amount of money that he's making, even not on purpose, I'm sure she's lovely, then certainly you can. But I think that's where women get it wrong. We're like, he doesn't want to date me because I'm too rich. I have never in my life met a guy that goes, the thing is, she's got too much cash. Fuck that broad. Like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I've never heard a dude say that in my life either. Not only have I never thought that in my entire life, I don't know a single dude who has gone out there and said to himself, you know what, she's a great woman, but you know, she's just too successful. She makes too much money for me, so that's a real issue. I don't know any dude who's said that. I don't know any dude who's, you know, even remotely thought that. Being a man myself, I would assume not. It's completely ridiculous. Now, I will say this, guys. I think that these womanists should lie in the bed that they made, to be honest with you. And let's be real, none of them are going to do this. None of them are going to take on the provider positions, even if they earn all the money. They're simply not going to do it unless their biology absolutely demands. You know, if they have to get a kid out within the next couple of years or they're not going to be able to have some, then she might go, okay, let me just look after this guy for as short a period of time as I possibly can. I'll have the kids, and then I'll ditch his ass. But they're not going to do this. And by the way, I don't think they should, because I would rather these women just be completely weeded out, to be honest with you. I don't think any dude wants to date these girls who are just actively like this, these womanists and things like this. Just screw off, man. You know, you made your bed, now lie in it. But guys, I think we are going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Do you guys find this interesting? Do you find it funny? Do you find it sad? Let me know down below. As always, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.